Alright, I might as well restart it. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Half Hour Wrestling Podcast. This is now the longest running weekly series on this YouTube channel, the Half Hour Wrestling Podcast. Welcome to episode number 5. I am your host, Zachary Serra. Well, I guess you can call me Zach Hardy, obviously, like you always do, and like you always have. So, I'm your host, Zach Hardy, and welcome. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Today we talk about the Tournament Series premiere. We talk about The Rock returning to the WWE. We talk about Dean Ambrose and John Cena at Hell in a Cell. We talk about SmackDown number 15, or year number 15, USW and SWO talks. We talk about the Z Nation review that I told you I would do last week. And we also finish off with a question: what's your favorite championship belt design in wrestling, period? So first, let's talk about the Tournament Series premiere, which will come up on October 26, 2014, to this YouTube channel. Episode 1 was put out a few days ago. I think it was this past Thursday, and that was the bracket reveal and the roster reveal for the tournament. The competitions will be based off of power, speed, toughness, and charisma. And this is not going to be determining who is the best wrestler. It will be determining the the best wrestler when it came to statistics that I booked them towards. But based off statistics, and it's not meaning that they're the best wrestler out of the WWE and out of USW, but it means that they've won the tournament. The tournament doesn't decide anything except for, ability shit. But, you know, this is kind of something that I guess would belong on TV, and I've been planning it out for a while. And I've been wanting to put it out. I've been wanting to put it out since I started thinking about it this past August, and now I'm able to put it out. I've had to put a lot of thought into it, a lot of strategy, and a lot of thinking, and I've had to determine, all right, well, if this happens, what do I do then? So I'm pretty sure that I've gotten all the kinks worked out, and for the most part, it should be ready to go, and it'll be put up on October 26, 2014, which is in about 2 weeks, or 2 weeks from now. So thank you very much for your support in that, even though there were very few people, and thank you for watching this podcast. So, and I apologize, this is on Saturday. I know that it's not the podcast that you would expect to be on Friday, but it's what I had to go with. So, thank you for tuning in, and it's now the longest running weekly series on Unitard. So, thank you very much, and let's get past the first category, and let's get into the second category, which is The Rock returning to the WWE this past Monday. The Rock returned to the WWE during halftime of Monday Night Football, and if you are a football fan, then you would realize, if you tuned into the WWE at halftime during the Seahawks and the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington Redskins game, you'd realize that The Rock came back during halftime. So this was WWE's cheap attempt at bringing fans into their product while nothing good was going on. And it pains me because football is my favorite sport. I don't consider wrestling a sport, or at least the wrestling that I watch or I'm involved in. I don't consider that a sport. So football is what I consider a sport, and that's my favorite sport. And it's painful to see that the WWE is kind of, I don't know what to say. It's kind of like desperate when it comes to football, because football is something that should be enjoyed by everybody. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. It shouldn't be enjoyed by everybody, because it should be enjoyed by people who actually like football. Just like wrestling should be enjoyed by people who watch wrestling and enjoy wrestling, and also people who enjoy football. But the WWE is now trying to do whatever they can to get people to watch Raw while Monday Night Football is going on, and they're not doing it well. You see, what they're doing is they're trying to get people to tune into their product while Monday Night Football is doing something, or if it's on commercial, or if it's on halftime. And the WWE is using it to say, you know what, come watch this, and then once halftime is over, we'll stop this and you can go back to watch the game. Now, yes, it's only about 16 weeks that football goes on Mondays, because there are 17 weeks in football, and it's week 1 through week 17, and normally games are on Sundays. This year they started it on Thursdays, and on cable as well for Thursday Night Football instead of just NFL Network. And Mondays they have one game, which is on a half hour. It starts a half hour after Raw starts. And from week 1 through week 16, it'll be Monday Night Football, and then week 17 are all the games are on Sunday, and it'll be teams. Let's say there's the conference of the AFC East or the NFC West. I'll use that because the 49ers are in the NFC West. In the NFC West, there are the 49ers, the Cardinals, the Rams, and the Seahawks. Week 17 on the Sunday games will be the 49ers against the Cardinals and the Rams against the Seahawks. The 4 teams out of every division in both conferences, those 4 teams will face each other. So it'll be one team versus another team, and the other 2 teams will face each other as well. And then during the playoffs, it's on Saturdays, one half of the wild card games, and then on Sunday, the other half of the wild card games, and then they keep going on Sundays with the divisional and the conference championships until the Super Bowl on that Sunday, on Super Bowl Sunday. So the WWE has about, let me see, I think they have about 10 weeks left of Monday Night Football, so it looks like you can get 10 more weeks of cheap bullshit that the WWE is going to be doing to try to get fans interested in the WWE and in Raw for at least a little while football is going on. It's like they're giving up. And when the fall comes, the WWE does nothing. It's terrible. So I know that they have to keep it running weekly if they want it to continue being one of the longest running weekly programs in history on television. But it's just like you're not doing anything good in the fall, so why even have wrestling? Man, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, the WWE, it's whenever football comes on, if they don't have anything that they can do, they just make Raw terrible. And then I guess they try once people realize that football is not on Monday nights anymore, so they can go back to doing all the bullshit that they normally do before. So I don't know. I mean, this upcoming Monday, October, I think 13th, right? The 13th. See, today is Saturday, the 11th. So yes, the 13th, Monday, October 13th, 2014. I don't even think I'll be watching Raw because this is my favorite team, the San Francisco 49ers, are going to be facing their division rivals, the St. Louis Rams, on Monday Night Football. So I'll probably be watching the 49ers and Rams game for the rest of the entirety of Raw, except for the first 30 minutes and possibly during halftime. Which just proves that, even me, who's a wrestling fan, who's been involved with wrestling for over half a decade, just doesn't like it. It's like, what I'm doing this for is because it's like, it's hopeless. I'm thinking to myself, are they going to do better this Monday? Am I going to miss anything? And I think, when I do this, I'm like, I'm having doubts, whether I'm thinking it or whether I'm talking about it. So, either that or I'll just shake it for some reason. Shake my head for some reason. So WWE using The Rock for something so stupid, even though it was exciting to see The Rock back for a little while, it wasn't worth it, especially considering they're using The Rock, as a cheap plug for people to come watch Raw during halftime of Monday Night Football, and then go back to watching football during the rest of Raw. So, tell me in the comments below what you think about the WWE and their bullshit attempts at getting people to watch their program while Monday Night Football is going on. Tell me if you're a football fan or if not, and if you like the idea or not, and if you're a fan of the idea or not. It's good. It's very good. So now we get into the third topic, and that is Dean Ambrose and John Cena facing off at Hell in a Cell. I am glad that I watched the end of Raw this past Monday, because then I got to see that Dean Ambrose and John Cena were announced that they will face. It was announced that John Cena and Dean Ambrose would face at WWE Hell in a Cell in a few weeks, and the winner would face Seth Rollins at the same pay-per-view in a Hell in a Cell match. So, thoughts on Dean Ambrose and John Cena? I don't know why they decided to have John Cena in there. I mean, I get that you really wanted Roman Reigns to be in this position, but now that John Cena and Dean Ambrose are not this kind of like charismatic team, you want to have the fans enjoy something, and they aren't going to enjoy John Cena being in there. So since John Cena's already in there, they've got to do something. And every week I'm leaning less and less towards Roman Reigns was supposed to be in John Cena's place, and I'm leaning more towards they were going to do this in the first place, but the fans didn't like it, so they had to change things up. Personally, I think the match will be good. I think it'll be interesting, and I think Dean Ambrose is going to win, obviously, but you can't really help but think, why? Just why is this going on? It's stupid, it's bullshit, and it's not interesting. I don't like John Cena. I don't like what he's doing. I don't like him being involved in the storyline, this great storyline that the WWE has going on with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. And I get that you want somebody else in there to liven things up. I know it's been since June. It's October now, and I get that it's been 4 months since Seth Rollins has turned on Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. And I know it's been 4 months since Dean Ambrose has started a rivalry with Seth Rollins, and I get that. Don't get me wrong, I get that. And I get that the WWE wants to have it, to have something be changed and have it be, a lot more fresh. And since you can't really have Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins for a few years, and I know the WWE is having a lot of trouble with deciding, all right, what are we going to do? How are we going to get Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose to stop bickering and stop fighting? And I know that they don't have really an answer for that right now, and that's painful. Yes, it's painful, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like John Cena being in this rivalry, and I feel like Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins will face in the Hell in a Cell, and I think that John Cena will get involved in some way. But I don't like where this is going. I really don't. I can look forward to the Dean Ambrose and John Cena match at Hell in a Cell. I just cannot look forward to the rest of this rivalry. I can't sit through the pain that's going to be going on for the next few weeks. At least I'll probably be able to minus 1 week because I'll be watching football. But still, there are a few more weeks left until this match, and it's just bullshit. I don't like it. So, it's painful. It's bad. It's not as bad as the Nikki Bella and Brie Bella rivalry or feud, but it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's not something that I look forward to. So, other than that, before I decide to shoot my notebook, fourth topic today is the 15th anniversary of SmackDown last night. I didn't watch it because nothing really new happens on SmackDown. Occasionally, from time to time, instead of every week, I'll be doing a SmackDown review, but I don't know. I don't like how SmackDown is turning out nowadays. I don't like the way it's going, and I don't like what the WWE is doing with it. I think it was last podcast that I talked about the SmackDown problem, about how nothing new happens on SmackDown and nobody watches it because they don't really care about it. Rivalries don't get advanced like they do on Raw. No highlights. There are no highlights that come out of SmackDown. There are some points where the brand extension should just be different and have people on Raw and people on SmackDown again, but it's probably never going to happen again. So SmackDown is really not going to have any purpose, and at that point, and I think right now, SmackDown, it's not worthy of being on at all, because nothing happens, nobody watches it, nobody cares about it, and nothing interesting happens. So it's worthless to watch SmackDown. I get that it's been on for 15 years, and I get that that's a long time, and, I don't like it. I don't like what SmackDown is doing, where SmackDown is going. I'm trying to encourage myself to put out a WWE review. I just can't seem to do it because there's nothing that I like going on. So, if there's a good Raw or if there's a good SmackDown, then I'll put out a review of it if I can. But, guys, it's just nothing's good happening. Nothing good is happening. So, what do you expect me to do? Do you expect me to put out a WWE review on something that's terrible? I mean, if something is really, really, really bad, like if Raw is terrible, at a below negative 100%, and yeah, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. If it's if it's below negative 100, or if it's higher than negative 100, I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind. Going up from negative 100, no, I'm sorry, I can't talk. Oh, it's so terrible that I can't speak. If it's absolutely just terrible, either whether it's Raw or SmackDown, then maybe I'll do a review on it and put a giant rant out. But if it's just mediocre and if it's just not good, and if it's just a little good, I'll put out a review if it's great or if it's terrible. At least during the fall, because during the fall the WWE is just brainless. They're brain dead. I don't know what else to say. I mean, SmackDown, it's not really worth it to put out reviews or spoilers about it because nobody watches it and nobody cares about it. And I get that, and I don't really like SmackDown either right now because nothing goes on, nothing new happens, and nothing interesting happens, so I'm not interested in it. And I don't know if you guys are interested in it or not, but I'm not, and it's stupid, it's bullshit, and I want to see something change, and if it doesn't change, I'm not going to watch SmackDown, and I'm not going to continue watching SmackDown. Maybe I would if Z Nation is going to be on after it, and I don't want to miss Z Nation, but, man, I don't know. Anyway, after going on from SmackDown 15, we're going on to talk about the fifth topic, which is the USW and SWO talks. If you've heard about SWO, it's that they are having a lot of trouble with their funding. They're not able to afford being able to stay in their home pavilion that they are using in, New Haven, Connecticut, I think it's New Haven. And they can't afford to keep wrestlers and performers. They've been cutting a lot of wrestlers from their contracts. So they are down to about 20 to 25 wrestlers on their roster, which is not good. USW has, I think, close to 60. And that's what you really want, because then you want some backup performers and wrestlers, so you have new storylines if you can use them. And so SWO is really struggling, and I think, after I was called by Kyle yesterday, I heard that SWO and USW were talking about USW helping fund SWO on grounds of conditions or whatever, and I haven't heard about that because I wasn't a part of that meeting, and I'm not a part of USW staff, or SWO staff, obviously, and by staff I mean, like, management teams and all that crap. I'm a performer. That's what I do. I'm under contract as a performer. So the management of both USW and SWO were talking, and USW offered to help fund SWO, and I don't know what it was that they would have agreed to or had to agree to, but I know that USW would want them to stay off their back, and would have to have them change and maybe become an independent circuit or something like that. I know that would have been one of the cases, because I know that USW has enough of a problem with TNA on Wednesdays, but having USW or having SWO on their tail is just not something that's, very good, because then you have one of your rivals on your back, and one of the rivals, I guess, trying to take you down with whatever they've got. And SWO has not succeeded yet, but I guess USW would want to change that. And I know Kyle would talk to me a lot about him not wanting SWO to be on their backs all the time. So, I think USW is agreeing to help fund SWO, but I know the terms and conditions would have been hard for USW or SWO to bear. I haven't heard much about it. I haven't talked to Kyle about that I haven't talked to Kyle at all since that, at like 2 o'clock yesterday. So, I guess we'll hear about it later on, and we'll just go on from there. So, after that, we go into the sixth topic, which is the review of Z Nation. I told you last week that I would possibly do a review on Z Nation, and, last night's episode was actually pretty good. It's one of those things like Sharknado. It's like, it's crazy. It's not something you would expect, but it's also something you can't really look away from. So it's been interesting to watch. And last night's episode, spoiler alert as well. Please leave. Thank you very much. It was an interesting show last night, and it was it's hard to turn away from. I remember that I missed out on the first like half hour because I was doing something, and so I stayed tuned in until I think Town of the Living Dead. It was a docu-series on Sci-Fi. Came on for about an hour, and after that, the rerun of the episode of Z Nation that came on at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time came on at midnight Eastern Time, and it was interesting. It was very good. They started out the show, I think, in like an abandoned house or something like that, and there were talks about a tornado by Citizen Z, which is this radio guy. He's this hacker that hacked into the system hacked into like a radio system or this like bunker or something like that. I've only been watching it for the past 2 episodes, and I can't seem to watch reruns because I don't have Netflix or anything like that. But there was a tornado that was coming, so as 2 of the main characters, I think one is Warren, and the other guy was the white guy with the beard and all that shit. I guess they're in this like relationship or whatever, and they were talking about their hometown, and as Citizen Z was talking about, there's this tornado that was coming, so I guess they get on the road, and Warren is forced to go back to her hometown because the tornado is coming in. So they get into their house, or into her house, and I guess her ex-husband or whatever, or who I guess died, they got to their house, and they met two survivors, a chick and a guy, and the guy had gotten hurt or something, so throughout the episode, they ended up hiding in the bunker, and they had to relieve pressure of the guy's skull by putting some screwdriver or whatever in his head to relieve pressure from the brain. And I guess Warren was, I guess forgot to say goodbye, or forgot to wait at home for her husband to come back, and blocked the door to the bunker with a chair and sat in the chair while the tornado was coming in, looking at pictures of him and pictures of them. And the guy with the beard, I guess the main protagonist, I think, could not get her to come back, so as the tornado went through, Warren was not hurt, but she was underneath a chair. He picked up a chair, and she was alive, so they went on from there, and I guess the guy, Murphy, who's been bit, he lost his hair, and then they got back on the road, and they finished off the show by showing, I think it was Antoine, the ex-husband of Warren, apparently turned into a zombie, firefighter suit or whatever. I guess he was a firefighter. And that's where the show ended. Next week, apparently, one of the guys from the group, or one of the people from the group will die. As I said, for one of the guys in the group, or for somebody in the group, I guess it's the end of the line or something like that. So, I'm looking forward to next week's episode, and it should be interesting, it should be good, and I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah, Z Nation review, pretty much done. I can't really say much more about it because I've only watched it for 2 episodes, so I only know, I think, Murphy. I know Warren. So there's the 2 people with their names that I actually remember and know of. Somebody's dribbling a basketball outside for some reason. I guess they're playing basketball on my driveway. And so that's the Z Nation review. Now we go into the 7th topic. And the 7th topic, I'm going to split them up into 2 questions. And I'm going to be answering them. I decided to add another one to the mix because I put in some review that is not wrestling. Because I just added that in. So, one of the questions that I'm going to ask myself is the new shows, or the shows that I've just recently become interested in. I know Z Nation is one. That's actually a very good show. I encourage you to watch it. Utopia, which is on Fox. I think Fox. Yeah. I think season 1 ended. And I guess it's these people trying to make their own utopia or society or whatever. Other shows that I'm interested in. I've been interested in The Walking Dead for a while. Tomorrow's the season premiere. What else am I interested in? I don't know if I'm really interested in it, but there's this thing called Hell's Kitchen and Hotel Hell. These Gordon Ramsay chef, Gordon Ramsay is the chef that throws things and yells at people and calls them assholes or whatever. Pretty funny to watch, actually. So I'm interested in that, I guess. I guess you would say interested, but I don't really watch too much of it. And I think that's pretty much it, because I don't really care about too many other shows. I'm kind of sticking to my schedule. But it's interesting. So I'm glad I gave it a go, and I'm glad that I haven't been disappointed. Z Nation has been pretty good. I know that Utopia was pretty interesting, and I haven't really gotten into Hell's Kitchen or Hotel Hell or whatever. But I'm looking forward to the 2 shows that I actually am interested in. Obviously, Z Nation and Utopia. So Utopia's season ended, so now we're into Z Nation, and that should be on for a few more episodes, a few more weeks. And I guess I'll be putting out reviews, maybe whether it's in the podcast or not, or just a plain video. So there you have it. That's my first question. And the second question that I asked myself was, what is my favorite championship belt design in all of wrestling? Now I'm not gonna say just all of wrestling, but I don't watch UFC or MMA or Bellator. I think that's still MMA. Just because I'm not really interested in it. But I'm gonna consider TNA championships, USW championships, WWE championships. I'll consider championships from WWE as well. I'll just name some of my favorites from each. TNA, I like the old X Division Championship, not the first one, but the second one, the giant red X in the middle. That was a very good championship belt, and I kind of like the new X Division Championship, the blue one. That's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool to see. I like the Jeff Hardy TNA World Championship belt from like 2010 or 2011 or something, or 2012, whichever one that was. But yeah, that was interesting. I like the Television Championship in TNA. It was the TV title, the Legends title, the International title, or the Global title, whatever. And that title has since been retired or whatever. But that championship belt design was awesome. My favorite championship belt design, though, from TNA, I'd say is the old X Division Championship, the second one, with the red X in the middle. That was very cool. I like the engravements in the center plate and just a giant red X in the middle. That was awesome. So, yeah, the second X Division Championship belt is my favorite from TNA. WOW, I'd say the Extreme Championship belt and the old the old WOW Championship, not the World Championship, but the old WOW Championship. That was a pretty cool championship. It was similar to the World Heavyweight Championship belt from the WWE slash WCW, but instead of the curves and the lumps in the championship, it was just this round circular belt with the WOW logo engraved in the middle with like these swirls or whatever on the side. And the Extreme Championship belt, there were two versions of that championship belt. One with the center plate, similar to the WOW Championship belt, except when in the circle it had these like ovals at the side, and it had the X, and then the Extreme in cursive, and the old championship I also like from the USW, or not the USW, the old the newest, or the first WOW Extreme Championship belt. That was the circle with the globe, and that had a ladder, and there were chairs and tables and whatever engraved in the side of the belt. But the WOW Extreme Championship belt was my favorite design from WOW. The WWE, I liked the newest newest WWE Championship, the old Intercontinental Championship, and I'd say the Cruiserweight Championship. But if I had to go, well, in the United States Championship. But in my opinion, the favorite WWE Championship belt had to be the old Intercontinental Championship with the globe and the other side plates, just because Jeff Hardy held it and because it looked really cool. So, and the USW Championship belts. I'm not gonna say the USW Championship. I like the newest USW World Heavyweight Championship belt design. That's awesome. I like the new International Championship belt design. That's awesome. And the old Blue Belt Championship belt design. Although I think my favorite has to be the newest and current version of the USW World Heavyweight Championship belt. I made my own replica of it. It's not that great, but I had limited resources, so I just tried to do whatever I could with the championship belt. So this is the version of the championship belt, my own version of it. You see, there's no side plates because it's all like this engravements in the leather. The real championship, the nameplate's all the way on the side, and this, the center plate. But it's interesting. It's cool. It's new, and it's not something that anybody else has really used. So it looked interesting, and I decided it would be my favorite championship belt design when I first asked this question to myself. And that's pretty much that. So, thank you everybody for watching this 5th episode and record-breaking episode of the Half Hour Wrestling Podcast. Remember, guys, to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm Zach Hardy, signing off. Thank you, and remember to watch the premiere of the tournament starting October 26, 2014. And also remember to watch the first episode I put out this past Thursday, telling you more information about the bracket. Also, once again, go to www.uswunitards.webs.com for more information on the tournament, or on the tournament championship, or on the tournament schedule and bracket. So thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm Zach Hardy, signing off.